Welcome to the Radical Transformation Podcast, where we'll help you find purpose, align your path, and awaken your highest self. Each week, we share conversations of vulnerability, courage, strength, and metamorphosis. We bring you the greatest teachers to discuss ideas on awakening for mind, body, and spirit. Each episode features tools and incremental steps you can integrate into your own journey and live an extraordinary life. Our goal is to walk this journey and figure it out together. Thank you so much for being here.
Do you find yourself standing in a liminal space between what was and what you want to be, who you have been and who you are becoming? In our last episode, we talked a little bit about before the beginning, and we talked a little bit about the quantum sea of potentiality. Today, we're going to be talking about the in-between. The word liminal comes from the Latin word limen, L-I-M-E-N, meaning threshold, any point or place of entering or beginning. A liminal space is the time between the what was and the next. It is a place of transition, a season of waiting and not knowing. Liminal space is where all transformation takes place. If we wait and let it form us. If you aren't in the in-between right now, can you think of a time when you have been? I like to think that this is the space where stuff happens. There's this stretching and shedding that takes place. It is in the sunset and the sunrise. It's the space where the outer atmosphere of the earth and outer space begin. I like to picture a view from space of the sun rising over the earth. Author and Franciscan friar Richard Rohr describes this space as where we are betwixt and between the familiar and the completely unknown. There alone is our old world left behind, while we are not yet sure of the new existence. That's a good space where genuine newness can begin. Get there often and stay as long as you can by whatever means possible. This is the sacred space where the old world is able to fall apart and a bigger world is revealed. If we don't encounter liminal space in our lives, we start idealizing normalcy. These thresholds of waiting and not knowing our next are inevitable, and they're most disruptive. If you found this podcast, you're probably going through a radical change, maybe a move, becoming a parent, you've suffered a loss, a divorce, maybe you've become an empty nester, or you've had a health diagnosis, or maybe you've hit rock bottom. Whatever the change, it's seismic, and it feels like it's rocking your world, and the future seems very uncertain. For my husband and I, we kind of both hit rock bottom at the same time. We knew that we needed to make changes, but we didn't know how. It was through the support of a therapist that helped us to take our first steps. But in those months leading up to those steps, it felt like we were standing on the top of a cliff, looking over the vast sea, and it was terrifying. Most of us don't know who to become or how to navigate what's ahead. And we often miss the real potential of this in-between place. We either stand paralyzed, like my husband and I did, or we flee quickly, kind of that fight, flight, freeze response to avoid that discomfort. But your job right now is just to sit in this space and to pay attention and to choose the direction of your thoughts, feelings, beliefs, and actions. This is a really beautiful time for self-inventory. And by self-inventory, I mean looking at the past, thanking the experiences that you've had for what it has provided you, and then letting go of your attachments of the stories of what was. We'll talk more about letting go in future episodes. But right now, all that is expected of you is simply to take inventory, to have that awareness. Now is the space to really understand what's required of you as you move forward to this new, unformed version of yourself. Someone that can help us navigate liminal space is the Greek goddess of crossroads and in-betweens, Hecate. Now, if you don't remember the story of Hecate, you're not alone. She is definitely one of the lesser-known Greek myths. Hecate and the sun god, Hyperboron, they hear Persephone's cries when Hades abducts her. After Demeter, Persephone's mom, she'd been searching for her daughter for 9 days. Hecate comes to her on the 10th day with a torch in her hand. The goddess told Demeter all she had heard, but she didn't know who had taken her daughter. Once Persephone was reunited with Demeter, Hecate embraced the girl. She would become Persephone's companion in the underworld when the girl returned to Hades each year. Author Colette Baron-Reid shares more about Hecate. You have the magic of Hecate pulsing through you and calling to you to answer. Say yes and step into the unknown to discover what is not yet manifested. As soon as you do, the goddess Hecate will bring her eternal torch to light your way. There are times when you will find yourself stuck between worlds, unable to go back to the way things were, and afraid to move forward without knowing what you're facing. This decision can be crippling, but you can't stay forever in the in-between. The goddess Hecate offers you a sacred alignment task. Make a move. It doesn't matter if you stumble or fall, after all, you can always course correct. Bring love to that part of you that is afraid and that has lost faith. Remember that you are not alone, as the goddess Hecate will not abandon you in the dark, nor will you remain there for long. Consider as you move forward through life the sacred challenge of trusting the magic that makes this world and your part in it sing with meaning. Don't be afraid to step in the dark. The goddess Hecate will raise her torch and show you the way out. Isn't that beautiful? This liminal sacred space really is a place of becoming. What does that mean to you? This week, your transformation takeaway is to look for liminal spaces, to ponder them, to lean into what you're being asked to do. And we'd love to hear what you find. You can send us a DM or you can tag us on Instagram. We'll be sure to include all of these references to Richard Rohr and to Colette in our show notes, as well as links to some of the books where we found our resources for today. Hope you enjoy exploring your liminal spaces this week, and we look forward to connecting with you next week. We have created a free download that is a liminal space worksheet where you can explore a little bit deeper some of the things that you are wanting to become. And you can find that in our show notes at radicaltransformation.org or click in the link in our Instagram bio.
Thank you for listening to the Radical Transformation Podcast. And thank you for being a part of this conscious community. For more resources, tools, and show notes, visit radicaltransformation.org. We'd love to hear your takeaway from today. Leave a comment or DM on our Instagram at radical_transformation. If you found this episode helpful, please share with your friends or family or leave a review. This helps us to connect with more people seeking change and build our community. Thank you again, and we'll catch you in the next episode.